your screen now this one.
Is my screen okay?
And now that this
Make one do
mm,
before we go live.
not ready to go live. Made down maybe done. Wait, what? What in the screen?
It's off now. Enfin. Hello. 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 Okay. All right. That's what. Yes. I'm not yes. I'm named to share.
So can you start talking about your project? What's it about?
Please, second, please. The idea of good try, good try. It's one. I'm trying to share.
They extend the legislative. They extend the legislative.
Periodical, please.
Good morning, esteemed executives of Speedlink High Solution. Our wonderful IT supervisor, our many tutors and to my profound colleagues. Good morning. My names are Dora Chen, and I'm here to present our data analysis project, higher Sendforth. So recently, a healthcare facility reached out to us that we should work on we have them keep track of their patients to patient management system. Take care of their data.
Next slide.
Third, sending a client to help them keep track of their patient admissions, discharges, and hospital operations. And as data analysis, all we just had to do was to collect their raw data and transform them into a simple, clear, intelligent dashboard to help them take informed decisions. Now, before we forget, I want us to understand what data analysis is. Data analysis can be defined as the process of collecting data. Now, before we go ahead, I want us to understand what data analysis is. Data analysis can be defined as the process of collecting, cleaning, transforming, and interpreting data to discover or recover new patterns, to support data, to support decision making, and also to avoid that problem. And for our project, we get to monitor and analyze medical activities such as the patient strategies, bed occupancy, and job assignment. And for the next slide, I will get my colleague to give us a proper rundown on how we were about the entire process with family.
In this module, prepare the data set that contains important information about our patients. So, as considered, we have a patient ID, name, gender, age, and so on. So this is the data set of patients or admitted in the hospital. So we also created the raw data file that's using it. So when I said like ID, names, data, age, and we have field actually because of these patients.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about data cleaning. Data cleaning is the process of identifying errors in the data set. And by doing that, what we found out from the data set was that our date format was not standardized. Standardized date format. We still missing discharge dates for patients and admitted to healthcare. The greatest calculated in like length of stay and age range of patient. Length of stay, how much length of stay now that's it. We subtracted the admission date from the discharge date. And for the age range of patient, we classified our patient for 20 to age 20 to 30. We classify them as young adults. From 31 to 40, we classify them as big adults. Then for age 41 to 50, we classify them as adults. Then from 50 and above, from 51 and above, rather, classify them as older adults. Now, what data cleaning, without data cleaning, you would end up with a wrong analysis. So data cleaning is the foundation of a good analysis. Thank you.
Moving us further, I'll be looking at the explanation of the exploration data analysis. Then we explore the key questions like what's the average length of data platform? How many activators and discharge occur each minute? And also, what's the total number and discharge patient by month per year? Firstly, I would like to explain what the average length of stay by department means. It means for the hospital, we have several departments like diabetes, heart failure, surgical department. So now the length of stay by department simply means which of these departments that I listed out had the highest number of stay per patient. Secondly, so here we have the average length of stay by department. This resulted to the amount of 230. So also, how many admission and discharge occurred here? So, total amount of patients that we had in the hospital report was total amount of 500, where they were 250 and female, and also 250. And the total number of admitted and discharged patients by month and department. So here we have chart that shows total number of admitted patients by department. Oncology, cardiology, cardiology, orthopedics, neurology, and emergency. So you own the highest amount of admitted patients, the emergency department. Then for the that patient by month, that month of March, we have the highest start of treatment. So we did. I've been able to enlighten us on how hospitals take overall record of both their patients and their staff records. Thank you.
Continue for my colleague, thank God for results. Our five dashboard including the current academic patients, average length of stay, bed occupancy. So these are our dashboard different information. I'll follow my information.
Thank you very much for what I would say. So far, these are the major things we want to point out for us to understand. First of all, from this was the first dashboard we created after our analysis. From here, you can see the total number of patients that have been in the hospital so far. The data that we created is a 1 year period data that started from 2024 to 2025. So in the period of within this period, we're able to take in about 500 patients, and we're able to look out, bring in the insights of the patients that have been admitted and that are part of the hospital by diagnosis. These are the list of all the sicknesses that the hospital treats. We have from heart failure to back pain, and then these are the total number of patients by gender and total number of patients by age range. Like you said, we classified our data based on age range from 20 to 30 is young adults, from 30 to 40 is mid adults, from 40 to 50 is older adults. So from 40 to 50 is adults, then 50 and above are older adults. This next slide. Then we also took notice of the admitted patients record. Now, this is the record that tells us about the admission processes. First of all, we discovered that the total number of admissions were 249. So out of the 500 patients, about 249 patients were admitted. Then the average length of stay for the patients that were admitted were 213 days. So 213 days. So for the patients that were admitted, it was discovered that the patient stayed too long in the hospital for about 213 days, meaning that when we calculated the number of stays in the department, we created the calculated column for the length of stays, and we were able to get the average of them to be 230. This is the total number of admitted patients by department, and the total number of admitted patients by gender. Please go to the next slide. Then for the total number of discharges. So this is the total number of discharges that have been made so far. About 251 patients have been discharged. While it goes to the previous slide, 249 patients admitted, while 251 patients discharged. It goes to the next slide. Making it up for 500 total number of patients. So we have all our data accounted for. Then we also discovered in our data that we just have a total number of 7 doctors across the 6 departments. So that was actually very responsive if we had to move over to the Power BI slide. But this is the number of discharges by department, the number of discharges by age range, the number of doctors in every department. Then discharges. Go to the next slide, which is very important. The insight that we draw out from the analysis. First of all, we see that the adults form the largest group. So far, both at for the it goes to the first dashboard slide. We see that adults form the highest part of the patients in the hospital. This tells us something that the hospital should admit more. The hospital admits more patients who are doctors. Next slide, please. You can also see that most of the admitted patients are doctors, suggesting a focus on middle-age healthcare needs. The next thing we can also notice from the data is that on the first quarter of the year is a big period, possibly due to some post-holiday health treatment or weather-related conditions. We noticed that between January to March, there was a high increase in admission of patients. If you notice that, it goes to the first. The number of people that between January to March, there was a big increase in number of admissions, but it drastically reduced in August. The number of insights. Also, we noticed that the obstetrics and oncology department have higher discharge counts, indicating that they handle more acute cases with more shorter stays. And the last one, the number of patients is steady, but treatment takes too long. That we be able to notice by the length of stays. The treatment takes too long because we notice that about 213 days it takes was the average length of stay for the hospital. Then we also noticed that there were limited staffs and long stays. The limited staff and long stays slows down discharge, especially in busy departments. We have only 7 doctors across 6 departments and taking care of about 500 patients. So we made some recommendations for the hospital, and I'll leave that for the next colleagues to talk about it. I'll also talk on the recommendations before I'll leave the colleagues to talk on the conclusion. Sorry about the mix-up. So the recommendations, I'll briefly do a rundown. First of all, we should target more common diagnosis, which is heart condition and stroke. If you notice from the initially, go to the first one. Next one. The next one. We noticed that there were more patients that suffer from heart failure, stroke, and these other sicknesses. So, what we're recommending is that there should be more campaigns and more sensitization and more focused healthcare strategies to cater for those sicknesses for their patients. And also, the hospital should prepare for peak admission period, which is generally March, with extra staffs and extra beds. Also, they should review cases with long hospital stays and implement discharge planning protocol. This is one major recommendation we are giving for the hospitals, that we should hire more doctors, especially in high demand departments like emergency and cardiology, because we noticed that there are more admissions in the emergency department over time. To also reduce treatment delay. Thank you so much. I'll leave to my colleagues to talk to you.
Well, in conclusion, staffing is constrained. It's important. Across departments, creating bottlenecks. This means that the hospital don't have enough doctors. So it will take longer for patients to receive treatment. Also, it shows the hospital should maintain a balanced patient to admissions and discharge is close to allow the problem. If we got a number of patients coming to and the number of patients going out, actually we're bringing this problem to avoid the locality of the hospital. And lastly, with regular monitoring of people policy indicators to strengthen efficiency and support for that hospital planning. This means that the hospital should track data performance so that they can work efficiently and come up with a better solution. In the end, this project shows that data is more than just a tool. It ultimately save time, save lives, and improve care. So by looking into the hospital side, we should by looking to the hospital side, it shows that we are able to transform challenges into opportunities and make sure that every patient receives attention that they deserve. Thank you.
So we thank the data analysts for their project presentation. Please go back to your clap for them.
Now. So I will forget what I want to say.
Okay, so please we'll leave for the tutors and the assessors to ask their question and evaluate them.
Okay, good job. I must say that you guys have done marvelously well. However, I have some concerns with what you guys shared. Sorry, the name is Tego, right? Flora. Tegora, okay. So you made mention about data cleaning. You said data cleaning is the process of noting errors in the data set.
That was our job was complex data sets make it into transform it into a clear and precise data so that help them make your
But there was something you made mention about data cleaning. So I just needed to. Oh, you're the one. Oh, okay. What did you say?
exactly process of identifying errors in a broad investment.
With this, I don't agree. I don't agree that data cleaning is the process of just finding. So after you have found, what happens?
You find error.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you just say identifying, it means you have seen the error and you still leave the error to wait. So that's not data cleaning. Except maybe you have written your own textbook on data cleaning. So then you also made mention about classification of the age grades. So what tool did you use to do that? I don't need to. Yes, yes. What tool did you use? Power BI, no, not Power BI. Use something in Power BI. And anybody help her? Again, the Power Query. Again. All right. Then in your please go back to your slides. Just keep scrolling up. What's the full meaning of Power BI? What's the full meaning of Power BI? Power Business Intelligence. All right. Please go to the next keep going. Keep going. The dashboard. The dashboard. Okay, on this one. Go to the next one. Let me see. Go back to the lab. So I noticed a bit of inconsistencies. In the second one, you have a dashboard title, hospital record. But in the previous one, you don't have that. That's an inconsistency. You want to fix it. No, that's your PowerPoint slide, not the dashboard. Then your dates. The first month in the year is January, sir. Why are you having April? So in your date table in Power BI, you should be able to filter by date number. After you created, did you create a column for date number? Good. So you should filter your data by date number so that where it sees number 1, it sees it as what? January. So that when you now bring it out of your sliders, it's now January to December, not April. Because by default, it uses does it filtering in alphabetical order. That's why you have April to yeah. So yes, then you made mention of 7 doctors. Does it mean that the hospital does not have nurses, does not have radiologists, does not have cleaners, does not have, then it shouldn't be a hospital, it is just doctors. So these are the kind of data you want to, request for. Because it's safe to say that, 7 doctors cannot run a full hospital. They will crash down. All right. So, and then I also noticed something. Your age grade started from 18 years. What happened to you? You started from 20 years. So, what happened to they don't even give birth in the hospital? You don't have children in the hospital. You don't have. Well, so is it in your problem statement that what was given to you was from? Because I didn't hear you. If you had mentioned that what was given to you by the hospital was age 18, I probably wouldn't have written that correctly. So from onset, you should inform your audience that hey, what we are currently working on, right, is for this particular range of grade or age, so that we are, because to me it feels like people don't give birth, or your hospital does not give birth, or I didn't even say anything that relates to mortality. You know what mortality means? It's death, yeah. So we should also have what you just recorded was admission and discharge. So how many people were dead on arrival? How many people left the hospital dead? Some of those things are data sets that you want to request. Yeah, what's KPI?
key points indicators.
All right, so then go to the next. I think my last start with the last. Yeah, no, that one. Again, inconsistencies. Your total number of admitted by gender is having a grid, a box. Others do not have boxes. Why I'm noticing this? Because this is what I do as a data analyst. So all of these things, they are at my finger. Once I just notice it, that's what I just keep noticing all of them. Yeah. So you want to, if you're going to maintain without borders, everything should be without borders, right? Yeah. So go to the next one. Yeah, that one. Go back there. Go back there. We have blank as part of your slide. That's why. So what you can do to take that off is take off filters on filter by page of the document. You can take off for this particular data. You will say filter and then you uncheck blank. So that rather, yes, you uncheck blank so that blank does not show in your slider, because it makes no sense having blanks as part of your so yeah, go to the next slide. Do that. Go next. Then you're inside. Let me see your recommendation. Again, hire more doctors. You'll have a plethora of other staff. Yeah, because not only the doctors that run the hospital. Yeah. So overall, I think guys, it's an amazing job. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question.
I have questions. Okay.
Please, what's your value?
That's so definitely.
The average length of stay, is it for one patient? Like on average? Like, because you mentioned that this data is for a year, 365 days, right? So this average length of stay is telling us that one person in your, like on average, a patient stays 213 days out of 365 days in your hospital. I think there's an error. And yes, the average length, this is the total length of stay.
For one
Let me
person in a coma.
exactly, because when you say average length of stay, it means that on the average, one patient stays 213 days in a year.
Because most are still on admission. And
So what was your criteria? What did you use to get average length of stay?
the entire length of stay of the entire can be the records with length of stay. So it told me it's not here, it's part of the there was the length of stay. So we calculated the
Total.
please go back. Calculated this minus this. And we discovered that most currently alive for this one now, that was the admitted clinical by this time we're still on admission.
That means there's an issue with your data set.
There are others now, 17 January to 22nd January.
See, there are some persons that are 2 days.
Yes.
So saying average, that your average length of stay is 213.
I'm meant to divide it by
It's dicey. Well, I mean, what's somebody doing in the hospital for?
200 students.
So out of
And
your
seven
500,
doctors.
out of your 500 patients, one is saying So did you calculate the number of bed spaces you have? Because that would also determine how many persons can stay in a duration. So there's work to do.
Yeah.
Still need to go back and um, look through. There are key KPIs you should also look out for, apart from what you have done. Right? Number of bed spaces. That is also part of what you should have included as a KPI in your work.
Yeah. I also noticed something in the dashboard. This kind of down. Yeah, said total patient by gender. I can see that the female and the male are almost the same, right? These are the total that came in, like general, the total patient. Then when you go down to your second dashboard, I'm seeing now that the total admitted by gender, the males are 250, 600 and something, but the females are negligible. So what happened to the females?
Actually, if you notice in the next one, is the reverse. The next is the reverse. So while more males are being admitted, more females are being discharged. More females
in the total patients that you have, that's like there are 250 females and 250 males. Then now 250 males were admitted and 250 females were discharged in this year. For someone to be discharged, the person was first of all admitted. But I'm not seeing that accounted for.
Before you answer that question, in line with what she's asking now, like she said, for someone to be discharged, so why is your discharge, number of discharge higher than admitted? Okay. Not even for females, like the KPI.
You have 500.
251 discharged, but 249 admitted.
It's true.
So your patient, now, you also now have a total patients 500. So those people are no longer patients if you have discharged them. So it's either you have total overall patients that have come into the hospital, but based on the next couple of slides, what they have shown, you have admitted, you have discharged about 250 persons. They are no longer patients today. But yeah, there's a point in what we have mentioned. You have admitted 250, discharged 251. That extra one person. But yeah, you still need to go back to it's a good project, I must say. But you need to go back to the drawing board and look at what's not there, what's working, and what should be improved.
And as your tutor, I must commend the effort I've actually done, considering how rushed some of the classes was have been. But for you to put together, it's really, really amazing. That was it.
Yes, please.
Talk about something and other stuff. I'm going to ask because part of this one was just to calculate doctor patients. That was my so I was still necessary that
Again, I'm assuming I'm not part of your tutor.
yes.
I am here as a judge or an observer, right? You didn't mention. It's not in your problem statement. Do you have a problem statement?
you know, we didn't have one.
Did you mention it here?
Right.
Oh, problem.
I said these are like 4 major so I'm when you started talking about the other stuff, I was wondering if it's actually very important and even when it's not part of
Patient discharge There are some patients that were discharged dead.
Bed occupancy was not counted for the
No, that they said there was a age grade. It was bed was
bed occupancy.
bed occupancy.
Yeah.
It was not accounted for. That's bed space. The number of beds you have, it was not accounted for. So my point is, there are key KPIs that are supposed to be even in that your four things you were asked to do. There are still KPIs that are missing from this without yourself. Yeah. So more research, because I actually last week I wrote an exam on health information management, and so this bed occupancy, it was just ringing when people were just talking in my head. I'm like, these guys also, so it's something you need to. Yes, we are giving 4 things to go work on, but you should do your due diligence to still do some more research. Yeah, thanks.
So I would advise you, aside from this, but when you're presenting your project, don't be having side spotting. It's not that time that you come and start saying it's time for you to present. Don't present like proud of that. You are meant to even know, should this person go back to the next slide? Like, it's a follow-up. Don't allow them to be telling you, because while they haven't telling you, I'm forgetting what they want to say. But they're telling you go back to the next slide, that kind of thing. So just take away that you should have in mind when you are presenting your project at that time.
In addition to that, sorry, not all of them addressed all the as if they came for defense. So because I saw here appearance, she scored there. So and then in data analytics, I don't know something just I just saw something. Not just data analytics for them, for all of the projects. You should tell us, you should take us on a journey, a storytelling journey. Some of you just came here and you're just telling. I was not feeling, I understand this is like your first, but there should be a story. You should start off with a story, right? On the project. What happened, how the problem came about, this one, that, just so that people go with emotion. So you come with a story, right? I'll be more interested to know what your solution will solve.
Yeah.
Even in that time frame, you still do. I wasn't telling her that this your 15 minutes is too much.
My project
This your 15 minutes is too much.
whether it's 5 or 10 minutes, they able. But another thing, your slide, something that I learned while in school and also while I'm doing my service here. Your slides should have more bullet points. It should not be about text, because I was trying to really instead of really focusing on what the person. So it should be bullet points. The points where you cannot really remember, maybe you can just have a small note that will trigger your memory on that thing. So when you are talking, because even when you finish reading and you are trying to explain to me, I'm still reading what you are saying, regardless of if you are explaining what that thing is. So there should be more of bullet points, maybe pictures. So like you said, storytelling. When you see the bullet point, you're not telling me the story on what that bullet point, but shall be fast. They are timing you. Because you also have to show final work. That's
Thank you. All right. Next,
so it's plan for them. Web development. Web development. Now, So your timing has started. 15 minutes. Are you ready? You can start it.
My name is Innocent Faithful, and we are for presenting the 2025 Global of Artist students. And more person. I'd like to introduce my colleague.
And the others, so what's in the front of it?
Okay. So, based on a case study, we found out our case study of events and preparing platforms. Found out that the way events are, the way people get to know about events is through generic platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook, which is not a very good way to get to know about an event. Like just consolidate events in Speedlink, but we can connect. I got to know about it from WhatsApp. So we try to create a dedicated events listener in private platform where important events can be listed and found by anybody who's interested in it. So we name it landscape because it's an arranged digital platform designed to bridge the gap between those event organizers and high network identity. So our project is dedicated to premier luxury events, not just any type of events. And security showcase for exclusive events, exclusive events, to develop to part of discovery process for premium experiences. Our user experience in event state is when you simplify discovering events and booking events. You don't need to get somebody to teach you how to use the platform. Everything there is designed to make you understand how to use the platform. And the relevance is that it is the critical of the modern lifestyle industry for centralized hygiene of management. This is what I talked about. It's trying to move from a generic type of boosting events. Trying to move from generic type of boosting events to actually making a dedicated event and management platform. So based on research on our case study, we found out three major problems that create this type of event platforms. And one is scope struggle. This is what I'll talk about. But I wanted to know about it, but I need to have the platform where I can look and find out events. And it's not good to go on WhatsApp or social media platforms. We need a dedicated event platform and centralization and listing barriers. So our project objective is to do a created platform. We are focusing on high-end exclusive events, high-end exclusive events, where manually we use WordPress. And WordPress is simply put a website together, which does not require too much code. We use the Elementor plugin for drag and drop to arrange our interface. Seamless integration. We implemented good forms. We didn't use WordPress forms, so these are M1.0. So the next situation is that we will implement the WordPress plugins. So what we do is for data collection, that is book events, quote events, it's simple forms. So when you book an event, it takes to the form to already created. You fill in, and then it takes to your name. Yeah, the admin can now do your events and handle your service. And user experience, we created a user-friendly user experience. As I said earlier, our platform is very easy to navigate, very, very easy to navigate. Even if you can come in and know how to invent and apply for an event. And if the question or an inquiry about an event, you can also see this the inquiry section there. You can probably tell us about what problems you faced and all that. So I'll handle how to help you.
So moving on, this is our project group. So what are we doing? We started with the development. We used WordPress and the Elementor plugin to develop our website. For the event management, our admins upload the events manually so that we can make what our users, our clients want. Then we try to use a Google Form configuration. So when you want to book the events, it takes you directly to a Google Form which you fill and send to us. For the design, we use a high fidelity UI/UX interface design. It makes the interface very smooth and easy to access. Our engagement, we have testimonial sections where we have testimonies of people that have booked events with us or registered their event. Accessibility. Our events can also run on a mobile phone or desktop laptop. Then the methodology and approach. We use an agile methodology. Why we use an agile methodology is for the fact that we manually upload our events. So when we are done with the website, we don't just leave it. We always update our events. We use WordPress, like I said before, we use Elementor plugin and we use a Google Form. So these are the key stages that we went through in doing events or designing events. We made research about what people usually want. We used QIS design, as I said before. Development was WordPress, used an Elementor customization. Elementor is a very good plugin for designing websites. Then there's testing and launch. Also, this is system architecture. As you can see here, we have a diagram. This diagram shows how we can simply book events. Booking events on our website is very easy. From the diagram, we can see book events. When we book events, it takes us to more details. These more details, part of the events website is where you see details. You see details about the event. Tell you what the event is all about. From there, you can book your event. Clicking on the book event button, it takes you to the Google Form, like the fill and send to us. That's the user flow. Then for the admin flow, we go to WordPress and manually update our events. Okay, she's going to talk about the key feature.
All right, our website, events it's built this streamlined WordPress foundation, offering flexibility and full administrative control. We offer the curated section and ensuring quality over cost for our users. And our design is optimized for all device sizes, providing a seamless browsing experience, whether it's on mobile devices, the tablet, or the desktop. We also provide them features to let them get access to events on our platform. We prioritize elegant animation and transition. This is how our design looks like, our website. This is basically how it looks like. Our target is that we specifically target users. Number one, socialites and influencers. These are people seeking exclusive social gathering and unique experiences. Corporate bodies. These are people looking for networking events and event organizers. People that need sharing these platforms. Thank you.
Once again, problem. Some of us are visibility and growth. Now, before I go further, I know most of us that wanted to see what the website looks like. I will get to that. So please don't show me the slide, but I'll actually show you what it looks like. So I did a little bit of research. Apart from those, I just give the image of what it looks like actually. But I did a little bit of research and I saw that the annual growth of the market and the events booking market on average is about 10% growth per year. Okay, so and I saw a valuation, a total valuation of about 300, over $300 billion. So if we are to get into something like this, we are sure and completely sure of profit. Now, sustainability and future, automation, ticketing, analytics, expansion, green. These are the plans we have for the future. We are starting small by actually manually updating it. Manually putting the website, the events online, manually doing things ourselves. Now, this also has some good side to it, where we get a good feel and a close interaction with our user base before we end up automating most of our workflow. Now, we quite face some challenges, which are the manual invitation, managing the manual events, listing up to put time consuming initially, URL ending, and making the website responsive for all breakpoints, making it suitable and pleasing for the mobile, the desktop, and the tablet breakpoints. But we actually find a way to solve some of these limitations. Like this, let's say, for example, manual limitation of uploading events online. And this event good is just to save previous events as templates and then just make an update based on the user's new information they give to us. And just do that update. And it's actually that I'm building from scratch again. Lastly, we like to highlight something that we learned from this whole process. Because usually, I, for one, am not actually good with using WordPress. I'm actually using, I might mostly use code, not WordPress for anything you say. But it like gave me the feel or gave me an insight into how UX work. Because it's more like working with functional, let's just use the word functional Figma. That means Figma is a place where you do your web design. But you can't actually just upload your website on Figma, you can't do that. But with WordPress, you actually design at the same time, and then you can publish that website all at the same time. One of us also will come back to tell us what he or she.
Okay, I want to talk about when that is to get to the adjustment gate, or we need to prevent it.
No, sorry. Can you go to the actual? Let's read the actual. But you have 2 minutes more.
What was to the flow of looking at events or posting your event on an event scale. So it's quite easy actually. You just scroll down, you see some of the events you've already that's available for you to do. And you can also view other events if you want to see more. So on this page, you have selected list of a lot of things. And you just don't we didn't actually, the reason why we actually put in some like clear thoughts into this interface because we didn't just want to just say button click book events. You don't know what the event is all about, and you're just paying 14,000 naira to just book an event where your money just get wasted. So we need you to be able to like see what this event is all about, some details, the locations, the time, the date, and all that. So which takes us to this page where you see some information about the specific event. And when you click on the book event button, it takes you to this form where you have to fill in your details and all that is required to book an event. Also, concerning uploading or hosting your own event on our website is quite a very, very easy method or easy approach to go toward that. You just have to come over this place which says host event. You click the button, it takes you directly to the form. Then you can very clear for the need for the time taken for authentication. But this is just the this is the form where you have to put in the banner or your flyer for your events, you list the name, put in the name and every other thing required, every other detail required for event. You upload it to us, and when it gets to us, you can also get in contact with you and also can post the events on our platform. Thank you.
So questions and remarks from our assessors.
So this is a very wonderful project. So far, it's a very good one. We have few concerns or comments I would like to draw your attention to. So we talked about marketability, and we talked about 10% growth annually. How were you able to predict this data?
Actually, did make prediction. Actually, we research.
You are selling a product, right? Or you are creating a product, right? And your prediction in the market is that your product will grow by 10%.
Not our prediction that we do. Previously, the growth you have seen in the market. So that was what I actually stated. The previous growth over time in the market, not.
So how are you sure that your product will also grow 10% as the previous product?
First of all, because we have seen a consistency in the pattern of growth. That's number one. And number two, also, you know that we'll be able to bring up ideas that also make us to have some shares or let's say a monopoly in this market. So yeah, sure.
What's that idea?
There are many ideas we can bring to this, which is we can make, for example, people need to host an event, let's say online events, if we make people go to a different website. For example, somebody is to do a meeting, a Zoom meeting, okay, and you have to put the link there where somebody clicks the link and takes you to a Zoom call where you're having a meeting. We can also have some kind of meetings, make our website more updated, and we can have meetings on the website which we can verify anywhere and any events platform.
So why I'm asking this question is that if you're actually creating a product, be it a digital product or a physical product, one thing that spells your marketability
is your innovativeness. So you need to look at, based on the research you've done, you look at what they have been giving out, like their products, their features, then you now bring in some innovation that will add more value to your own product. That is what will give you more market audience and demand in the market. Do you understand? All right, so for me, it's a good one.
So, let me come back here. Your panelists have not inspired. Just don't remove all the market. So regarding your project, well done. But I will still make my remark on your slide. So much of write-ups. And I don't know, people were slow. Your explanation, you don't have time. They are taking like 7 minutes, only you talking. And 3 more hours still talking. And like you're talking and you're posting, talking and you're posting, talking and you're posting. And you're not, baby girls, see, we are not going to fight. Just breathe. When I noticed you were actually nervous. It happened actually. But like breathe, don't mind our face. Okay? When you're doing public speaking, there's something that I taught when I was small. When you're doing public speaking, just look at one thing or imagine one person. That so that your mind is not like you're not looking at any other person's face. Because you go to school and you're trying to make presentation, your courage, your boldness, your appearance also adding to your mark. And Oga, when you are saying lessons learned, it's not now. Maybe when you're asking a question, that's when you say you're doing a group work, you're not doing an individual work. So when you're saying I learned, this is something that a project like group work. You can say that's when you are doing like individual presentation, like the IT defense now. It's only you that is there. They are telling, okay, so what did you learn so far? What's on now you are doing mini defense for people that their schools actually do them. You cannot come and say what I learned from my project. It'd be like what we learned, we decide. It's not like an individual something that you doing. Then you're inviting your fellow. If the panel did not stop you now, you will continue. It's not like that, okay? But well done. It's really nice. Well done. Then another tip I will tell you, maybe your slides should be like maximum of 5 pages or 10 pages. So you will know what are the key points you are trying to show or explain. The other slides that you can actually say when you're telling Sarah, when panelists are asking questions, those points can come up. But like as long as they're not key things to talk about, they should not be in your slide. You didn't even talk about like what are the requirements you should have when we are using our software. Because now I noticed that you're trying to log into a page. I don't know, maybe the network is slow or something, but it's taking time, which is also eating to your time. Taking time to go. So you actually have to say, for you to use that kind of, like we are using our app, your speed, your internet speed should be so you don't, it doesn't cause lateness or lagging, that kind of, they will not be blaming you when it's their network and you didn't specify your requirement that I should have this type of, so they are blaming you for their network problem. Yes. That thing that you should actually do, that should be in your slide and when you are presenting. But well done. Yeah, sure.
All right. Good job. All right. Good job. However, you spoke of that you could use agile approach. That's what you said, man. And who said you're the one? So I want to assume there was a project manager for the job, there was a PROD, there was a researcher, there was somebody You know what agile was? So there was all of those things. You had someone that manned those roles.
There was, but it wasn't as complex as
But when you
we
said
had a peer review and we did everything together, the research and every other thing.
okay, so that aside, yeah. So you also made mention that you are hoping to I think you also used the word monopoly to monopolize this space. What you have done, sir, may take a while. And the reason is the idea of the idea of software applications or what something like this will have done. I shouldn't be moving from a WordPress site to Google Forms again. That's just a point that I'm calling. Yeah. And then when the data has now been found, for example, somebody wants to host on your platform. So after he has filled this one, you will now come again and now put the details of the event on your back to your distance as well. So there is a tweak that should have been done. Yeah. So when at first, what the flow in my head is that when somebody wants to host on your site, he first creates an account. Then when he creates an account, he now fills in the necessary details, the picture, the thumbnail, what should be there. And automatically, once he clicks on submit, it automatically goes to to the front end, the front page. I know there are a couple of sites that I use for things like this. The likes of Luma. I don't know if you heard of Luma.com. I say you did research. The likes of Eventbrite. You know of Eventbrite. So these are some that you should have used, to mock up or model how the things like this should actually run. Because with this, this is more or less, I mean, it's still the same thing as in my WhatsApp. There's an event, register on Google Forms, right? Then, I'm not saying you guys have done it before, but looking at the bigger picture, it could have been better. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Look,
I earlier stated that this is one from zero. Yes, there are other iterations. This is just.
Well, you didn't give us, there's no time frame as to when that will come. So there should be, when you say this is version 1, so we're hoping that if version 1 comes out, today was 19th, the version 2 should be like probably in the next 2 weeks. We are hoping to roll out other features. Yes,
so we talked about the manual uploading. We said that after some time, we'll know what manual uploading. For now, we're trying to learn more about the user's experience. Talk about this.
When you say you're trying to learn more about the user's experience,
like through the feedbacks and everything, we are going to modify our website.
My point is, there's no point taking me to Google Forms. Yeah, shouldn't take me out of your site. Everything should be done. So if I'm on www.eventscape.com, my form, everything. So because I can assume that it's another company that wants to pick my details or something. So we should try and leverage. There are different form builders by Elementor and WordPress that you can make use of. Right. Which actually there's something that I wrote down about. Well, no problem. Overall, it's a good one, but real work has to be done. Real work has to be done. And then, did you speak about the in this your hosting application? Is there a place where those people who want to host they pay subscription, or you host for free?
Yeah, it's when they are free events, and then they are paid events.
So is it on this form now?
Yeah.
So how are they paying? Where do they pay to? And you want to also look for a way to probably, where I can't see the. Not there.
The account details are actually listed on the website.
So I'll pay first before coming here. So in your architecture, thank God you were the one that brought system architecture. Let me use your words. So there should be a flow that is seamless to the user. After filling my form, then I can now go make payment, or I make payment first before the before filling the form. So that, because at the end of the day, if I come here and fill this and I have not paid, you may have lost me as a customer.
We actually get feedback. Discovered nothing. We have
You now reach back to that.
everything smart for now.
Maybe it's manual, it's no longer is software. But yeah, overall, it's a good one. Congratulations.
So we have networking team now. Plan for your team, a place to plan. Networking team. Thanks, thanks.
Good afternoon, co-debaters and
Co-debaters first.
so good afternoon, my debaters and my co-colleagues. So today is where so today we're talking about how to tell you guys a story concerning our work. And so I'll tell you guys a story about work. So there's a man named James, and he works a small tech workspace center. And people are experienced uses the same network as him. So we created the place, right now. It's the same network. So now the guest technically see is network, the private and the public. So now he's trying to make this to get different connection from his private. So now James is trying to stay on his private Wi-Fi and still able to share files with his local Wi-Fi without any security risk at all. So now he's trying to keep his data secure for his guests to have limited access to his workspace and that of his file. So now that's the problem that we're facing. So that's the open door home network that all devices can be connected to one network to have two different output and devices.
Just to elaborate more on the problem, so the just as you see, the problem we are trying to solve is that, like you said, Mr. James had a particular business center which he was trying to, and in that business center, many come to use his Wi-Fi, but we want to be able to separate it so that those who want to make it of business Wi-Fi do not need to interfere with what he wants to do privately. So the initial problem is that there was an open door home network, so that people who come to use the business center also interfere with what he's doing privately, and they are able to, and they now, for the home network, the personal devices and guest devices and get devices and interconnected, causing breaches and interruption, and also it can also cause network delay. But we now brought out the, and it's very risky security challenges, privacy, they're intruding the privacy and lack of control, and also there's also individual issues. So we now come up with the solution. And what's the solution? Segmented and a secure network, one router. So he doesn't need to spend more in purchasing another router to for the particular business center. He just we just as we as the networking team, we're able to configure, come up with a better solution of same network, same one router, segmented and secure network. Why is this solution? Why is it really a solution? First of all, is for the home network is password protected and secure. For the home network, like I explained earlier, the segmented is the home network, which is the personal Mr. James and the public network, which is for those who most weak for the cyber cafe. For the home network, is password protected and very secure. Only those who have the password can be able to connect to the home network. But the guest network is open. Those as many as want to make use of the public network in the cyber cafe can make use of it. And it only has access to the internet. Why is that the home network can be able to share files and be able to print and be able to communicate. Two devices on that moment can communicate with each other. That's what makes this really a solution to the open door network. And why should we want this over the previous one? It's because first of all, enhance security. Yes, how is this really an enhance? Because those operating in cyber cafe cannot be able to access the home Wi-Fi because the home Wi-Fi is passworded and protected. Professional flexibility. Those in the public Wi-Fi won't have any interference. They are only being able to operate on the Wi-Fi and on the Wi-Fi that is IP address that is dedicated to them. Optimal resource management and visitor convenience. So these are some of the benefits why this open door, why this particular solution is very much compared to the previous one that Mr. James has been working on.
So, for saying for my colleagues, we talk about the methodology itself, this architecture. So we have the internet, the wide area network. We have the ISP Wi-Fi. That's how our router are going to be able to see internet access to be able to distribute to both private and public networks. So we also have the Eta2 and Eta3 connections on the router. Those are ports where our clients can be able to have wire connections to his laptop or to his system units so that it's not interfered with whatever is in the guest network. So he has two ports for himself on the router, which are Eta2 and Eta3 ports. So in doing so, those devices on the Eta2 and Eta3 ports and the router can be able to share files without the guests being able to know what's happening in the network. So for the guest network, we get an IP address range of 192.168.89.1/24, which is going to give it a total host of 224 usable IP addresses. So for this IP address now, over 224 people max are able to use this IP address. Also, if they want to be able to use the Eta4 ports on the router, they can be able to use the Eta4 ports on the router.
Sorry to cut you short. Please don't go to the main, go to the solution. Like this one, like me, I don't know this one. Though. I don't want to do it. So just go to what you have, the products you have. So that should be
So my colleague is going to share a screen. So
that's what I want to say.
So it's going to show the IP address range when it's going to use the Eta4 ports and the IP address range when it's going to use the Eta3 ports. Ideally, we don't want them to have the same, we don't want them to be on the same network. So they should have two different IP address ranges. So that's what we need to show right now. So while we are waiting for the router to pick up, My colleague will talk on the marketability and scalability and business application of this framework. My name is really cool. I want to talk about how we can market this innovation. Number one is, first of all, the target, we'll talk about the target audience. We'll talk about the values, innovation, brings to us. Yeah, give us a brief highlight of problem where somebody who goes to cyber capabilities are able to share. Somebody who goes to cyber cafe and the customers are able to share just one network, which, as my colleague said, it will include into the owner's privacy. I've done it before. I connected to my brother's. There was a guy connected to his Wi-Fi, and I was able to access his data plan, the bank data balance, airtime balance, and all these things. So you see that this thing is a problem. That's why we are bringing this solution. Now, one of the target market is for small businesses. I know other large business, they are involved in this, but small businesses see themselves as not able to venture into this. I thank God we are using a microchip router that is cheap. We are not using something cumbersome that is costly, but we are using something that is cheap. The microchip router also, you can get the one. When I searched, I saw that price range from, you can get the one of 14,000 to 35,000, up to 1 point something, depending on how your hand is. So small businesses can go into this and are able to give their customers internet without their customers venturing into their privacy. Same thing with landlords. Landlords can also be, and this is a means of attraction to people that are looking for house. Imagine looking for house and the house you see has internet. You don't need to subscribe when you are home. You don't need to subscribe data. You can use the internet. Even if you pay a fee, but I believe the fee will not be as high as the one you subscribe. It's also good for IT consultants. Instead of selling hardwares, higher hardwares and all that, you can venture into this business. It's not cumbersome to establish. And then what's the value proposition? It's low cost, like I said, the price of getting this is very, very cheap. It's not that costly. And it looks professional also. It looks professional also. Maybe after the demonstration, I will just talk about the sustainability and
okay, so for the presentation, we can't be able to share our screen because we are connected to the router. So there's no internet access at this point. So what we want to show now, we want to show you the IP address string. For example, the ETA 3 and the ETA 2 ports, which are these two ports. This one and the one available. These two are expected to be on a private network. That is 192.168.1, the dynamic type of given. So as you can see, when it's connected on this ETA 3 ports, see the IP address. It's exactly what we expect. 198.168.8, then the random IP address. If we connect the orange one, we are going to have a different IP address from this one to show that there's a separation of network between the two. So the guest network cannot be able to penetrate to the private network. Whatever happens on the guest happens on the guest. Whatever happens on the private network also happens on the private network.
So my question now is, though I'm a bit confused. My question now, to become, because you said this is for small business. Assuming I'm a small business, what book would you use to ensure that maybe I get, so I don't be hearing that I want it, how do I get to patronize you for, like, what was the solution to that thing? Why should I stop using probably my MTN or yeah?
Okay, let me see. For example, now let's assume you have a business center. You run a business center and you're actually paying the Wi-Fi for different users. So there's this thing called bandwidth. And so there's smaller the bandwidth, the lower the number of users can have proficient internet access to that bandwidth. So you can also restrict how many people that can use a specific bandwidth for guest network and still browse to a full speed or your private network. That's one of the advantages. Second advantage is that somebody cannot snoop into your laptop to try and steal data from you, due to the fact that all of you are on the same network. So what you can do is that you can create a separation of concern by dividing that router to have two separate Wi-Fi networks, which is for the guest and the group. The third one is that you can also be able to share files privately. Let me say you connect to one port and router and connect the other ports to your laptop. Anytime you want to share any file to a printer or to another laptop, you just simply need to plug the other ports to that laptop. So those are the three reasons why you might want to do something like that.
Okay, to add to what you said, if you listen to them, even when they talk about the scope of this project, now the scope is not to leave your maybe conventional MTN or Airtel route. The scope is just as a business owner, just like Speedlink. Let me take Speedlink for example. Speedlink has a network where IT students or anybody that just come to Speedlink, you connect to their to the network and then you get access to the internet. It does not mean I cannot also connect to MTN network. Right? But the scope is this. Speedlink are able to give out network to we IT students or anybody that are inside Speedlink. And then they also have their own segment of network so that I cannot just penetrate into their privacy. I can browse, can do anything I want, but on their own side, I cannot. They themselves, they can also use the internet. They can share resources to those ones that where you talk about ETA 1, ETA 2. It's just a connection medium where the connection are bridged. You can share data, both in that particular network. You can share data with each other, you can share resources. But those outside, as the guests, mean that are just entering those people network using internet. We cannot access data being shared by the staff.
So is this going to be connected to like an internet?
It depends on how you want to configure it. If you decide to get something from an ISP, you can either get it via Wi-Fi, which is what this is doing. It's doing now. It's getting the usage connected to the Wi-Fi. It's connected to the Wi-Fi. So it's connected to the Wi-Fi. It's getting internet. It's getting that internet now and splitting that to different networks. You can also make it a wired connection. Let me say you're tapping from, or your house has an ISP somewhere you can connect from. You can connect from that ISP and this is to an internet cable like this and plug it to the ETA 1, which brings in internet.
So in essence, you're not necessarily selling internet. What you're selling is like a firewall, something to which
is a solution itself.
a solution to ensure people don't have access to.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we had that conversation, I think it's clear to everybody what you're actually selling than saying you plug to. I don't know if you get my point. So it's best to actually bring out a solution to tell them, okay, this is what this device, or this is what we have done. We are just trying to ensure that whoever is connected to this port does not have access to the files or whatever the person in the second port. That way, it feels that it makes more sense to the common man. Because by the time you keep calling all those internet, you would have lost your customer already. Yeah, you lost him. So you want to, your audience matters. You need to be able to speak your knowledge in language he will understand. So, don't you can hear that question now?
Then another question. All right, that's it's a good project, and but one of the limitation on your presentation is the ability to ask your value, like the solutions we are creating, right? When you are actually selling a product, assuming I'm a client, right? And you've created a solution. Let's just say I'm not into network, I don't know anything about networking, right? And you want to sell that product to me. You don't just start telling me about the IP, the subnet, the data connection, and the rest, right? What you need to tell me is the solution, right? This is what I have built. This is what it can do, right? This is the advantage if you use it in your business, and this is what it can bring to your table, right? So this is how you market solutions, not the technicality behind it. You leave the technicalities for the engineers. If they are working with clients, you market the solution. Your value proposition is what matters most, not the technicality behind. But from my end, it's a good one. Congratulations.
That concludes the end of our presentation.
Thanks. Come on. No, it's good.
My name is Lawrence Secretary, and I and my colleague are presenting our platform project for embedded system, which is AI voice assistant automation. Protection, but I want to give a data of this. Let me use Benjamin. Okay, first, I will place this project under an ease of living. What is our living as people anywhere we are? So I will bring that first as a case study. Benjamin is someone that is going to he hasn't attempts to watch out after the day. When he called back to his first thought process is to be on the prepared. But then he's unprepared. And now he meets his basic. But after his test, at the next are very solid. Getting to the basis which is a problem. Another case study is good luck. Good luck is a game. He plays on this game and currently his software and where he uses it to practice. He needs his farm to but you can't pause his game to go because it's currently online. Now, two of them are challenged with similar problem. They are challenged and they are students because they can't get to what they want to do. Now, this AI voice assistant, they very smart extension software. That means they can both eliminate this problem, plus a voice command that has already been programmed into this three-way socket, which is AC on, fan on, And both of them have eliminated the state of going to put on the AC switch and leaving their head to put on fan. So with this, I'll let my colleague take the other.
So what we just used here was ESP32, just a microcontroller that we were able to achieve this. We also use the software Speedlink Pro, which is an IoT device, which is an IoT platform where we can be able to control devices wirelessly. We also integrated our Speedlink Pro with Google Gemini, so you can be able to use AI assistant to be able to control your home automation. So these pictures here showcase how we were able to build this project, from how we were able to solder and how we were able to assemble our projects. This slide also shows how we were able to set our Speedlink Pro application to be able to work with our ESP8266, which is responsible for switching. So I'm going to go to the marketability and scalability.
The AI optimizing level system. For AI,
I can't hear you.
See the AI automated control system, which is this device is targeted for tech-savvy owners and users, which include the cameras, the open source, complexity. These are our target audience. Then we have individuals competing, and we say individuals that could not.
Give me the microphone. You're not loud. You're audible. Thank you.
The market audience for this project. So can you hear me? Our market audience for this project includes our tech-savvy individuals, our home owners and renters, our gamers, like people that games, like you said earlier. Then it's complex setup, like gamers complex setup means that most gamers, their offices and their setups are mostly complex in terms of operation and the rest. Then we have individuals with mobility needs, which are individuals, market audience, individuals that are not complete sushis and the rest. Then we talk about the unique value proposition, which sets this our projects aside from the status unique from other projects. So it's cost effective. If you check the core components of this project, which includes the ESP, the 266 device, the microcontroller, the transistors and the resistors, they are cost effective within the range of $8 to $10 per unit, which makes it very cost effective for the individuals and market audience. Another one is the granular control, which if you check the traditional smart home devices, they require specific voice commands for operation. But this project, its integration with the Google Gemini AI, you can use human language, any language. You say, hey Google, turn on the Google, there is it. It understands the language and knows the time to turn on the AC. Then the progress of this can easily say it with just a voice command. You don't need to manually go there and press the switch for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In continuation of what my colleague has said, I'm going to discuss sustainability, environmental impact, as well as the social sustainability. For the environmental impact, I have active energy saving, just as we have here at Speedlink. With this, we can talk about various systems together. It regulates and optimizes energy consumption by what? Regulating the cooling, the heating, and the lighting system. Second, we have the what? E-waste reduction. E-waste reduction, what am I to say about it? E-waste reduction, just like the battery cell and the rest. If you don't need your physical control, you don't have to be there.
I get to save yourself time and energy. Then in the last but not least, in this session, I'll talk about what promote efficiency, doing with maintenance. You don't have to work. You don't have to have that stress of like you have to be there, they turn that alarm somewhere. Like you don't have like machine are plenty. Don't do that. You can just use your phone and don't solve the problem by offering the device. Like I think then we have to have social sustainability, accessibility. How do we access this thing? Both for the cripples, those that are blind, those that are handicapped, how do they get upstairs? I get it. Okay, and the fact that I just speak the word and the machine, the system does move the fact that don't need a house help, you set yourself that's straight for the people. But about economical autonomy, the use of our data driven insights. Are we together? Driven insight. We can see their patterns, the way they want the consumers use this stuff. Are we together? How do we use their equipment and we can what economical autonomy by this? Thank you very much.
We're looking at the finished product. This is how it looks like. This part is for the lights. This part is for the socket.
Wait, look, this is the product.
Yeah.
The first time it works, and instead of this, what they are doing, the process.
So, the second one for the starting time. So, I'm going to manually control this. Google Home application first of all. So I'm going to turn on the standing fan, and I'm going to turn on the socket, which is actually connected to me. I'm going to turn on the lights. After that, I will use Google Gemini to control everything. So I want to turn on the standing fan right now. So right now, you can see my phone isn't charged, or it's not charging rather. But you can just start the socket, turn on the socket. It should be charging right now. Takes so much control of that. So I'm going to be using Google Gemini to turn off all of the appliances. Turn off all devices.
Wow.
Individually going to turn on each device also by using Google Gemini. So turn on the standing fan. So, Mr. Musa, I want you to turn on the sockets using your voice. So, all you just need to do is just click on the virtual button and give it a command like turn on sockets. Turn on socket. You need to tap the virtual button. Turn on socket. All the devices using the voice command. All you need to tell is to turn off all devices. Turn off all devices. This concludes our presentation about AI. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
So you talked about e-waste. The e-waste. So I did not really get that. What do you refer to e-waste? So some of these devices are created individually. You understand? So for each device, they have their own software. Let's say there's a device like an extension block, just like an adapter, something like this, just for the TV. There's another one for the fan. There's another one for something else.
You get. So if anything happens now and you want to dispose them, you have to dispose them and sometimes the size is also might be bigger than what you expect. So by using this product now where everything is one, if let me say something gets missing, like the microcontroller, which is the brain of this product, all you need to do is just replace the microcontroller. But if you were to be the separate ones, you need to change the controller or the microprocessor of each one. You get. So, any other question?
Yeah.
So,
I want to ask, each of the devices connected manually.
and they
For
go
those not for those with
manually, like from the switch. No, they can't because that is the whole idea. You shouldn't be able to manually trigger the switches. Introducing a switch now will mean that if we turn it off by mistake, we won't be able to automatically turn it back on. You understand? If the switch is off by mistake, let me say your kid mistakenly turned off the switch, or maybe you left the house one time and turned everything off manually. I want to turn it back on. You will be like, okay, maybe this thing is not working. Meanwhile, you have already turned off everything. So that's why we eliminated physical switches for each sockets. So, I don't know.
Sorry, I have a question. This socket, can you actually decide to plug any particular
You can, but
device?
but it has power restriction. For this demonstration now, we use something that should not be above 10 amps. What I mean is that appliances like heating equipment, AC, the fridge, they are at risk of burning this device because they were not, these sockets are not rated to carry these high devices. What you can plug something like some small TVs, you can plug the standing fan, you can plug the laptop, your phones. Yes. If possible, also, if you're very sure that everything on an extension is not going to exceed, maybe say 10 amps.
How would you know now as a layman that does not know anything?
There's always an instruction. So for now, we are verbally giving you the instruction.
So yes, there's an instruction, obviously. But you now, how would you know that this particular device is like maybe 10, is not more than 10 amp? How would you know?
Okay, you want to learn. Or I should just tell you.
No, it's just a question. Your user,
how would they know?
Yes.
Okay, there's always power rating at every equipment. Yeah. There's always a power rating for it. For this TV, if you can check the power plug or you can check the back of the TV, there's always a power rating. It operates at 240 volts at specific something. So anybody can read that. It's not really technical. Once you don't look at it and see that it's lesser than whatever is there, you know that you're safe to plug it. Yeah. You understand?
Thank you.
Thanks for the application.
Yeah. So, I'm assuming that tomorrow is not fun I want to plug. Okay. So, how do I know? Because now you said plug fan or on fan or on socket. So, how do I know? Exactly. What if I don't want to plug my fan in this other socket or the? So, is there a I feel like your command should be generic.
For now, it's just here. That's why there's a Siri Pro application.
When you are going to send this to me, you say for now.
No, what I'm trying to say is that for the demonstration, it's here, but you can adjust which controls which of them.
And also, the phone with the label that will direct you on where exactly you can plug what. Let's say it's customized for you and you give us some equipment you want.
So you first of all come to my house.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying perhaps there's a customization for you. It will come with fan, lights, and let's just say charging port.
I don't know, but it feels like you're tying the user. So if it does not plug fan on port 1, you cannot plug fan anywhere else.
No, you can always plug fan. Like for example, this is like you place the light of the switch. Once you give that command, turn on the fan or turn on the switch. Any equipment you plug in,
So I feel like a more generic name like switch 1 or I don't know, something you
I understand where you're coming from.
Commands you give, like example, turn on the switch turns on, but
So what I'm trying to say is that on the app, you can configure which switch
the
does
user can
Yes.
do that.
Yeah, you can do that. If by tomorrow you say, okay, you don't want it to be connected to the TV, you can go to the app and change the name of that particular socket. Previously, it was for fan. You can then change it to television.
But can't you do it at random?
You need to know which port is for which, for you to be able to change the name of that specific one.
So that means if I plug my phone, my other port has no possibility for.
It will work just that it will not activate the command because you are not calling that command for that place because you.
Okay, so good job. However, what I want to say now for everybody, both the 4 teams. So I noticed that in your presentation, you guys usually do all of the technicalities. Just that you have the luxury of 15 minutes. Usually presentations like this are 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So what you should come is, oh, this is my problem, this is the solution. Go. I don't care about the microcontroller. It is now after you have done your presentation, then the panelist now asks you, oh, okay, what was used? Then you now have liberty to answer the components that were used. Else, a good presentation should be, oh, this is my problem, and this is my solution. And you go.
But sorry, question. What if people we are presenting to, we are very sure that they are technically inclined to what we are presenting?
I'm telling you now, an ideal presentation, problem and solution. Then it is when they are the ones that, if they now want to find out, to confirm that you know what you are doing, then they will now ask questions to prove that you know. Because I mean, you could just come here and read, because that's what practically what you are doing now, reading slides for me. How do I know you know it? So presentation wise, problem statement, solution. Keep it up. I'm speaking for regards to everyone. I noticed that's what people do. One says system architecture. This one, all those things, you end up killing your time. But fortunately for you guys, the timing was 15 minutes, which is a lot. So yeah.
Please give it up for all the people that presented. So we've also done project evaluation and remarks by assessor. So we are moving on over to goodwill message, which will be given to us by the training coordinator. That part. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So far, we've all done well, and I would say I was really impressed with what you guys did, especially what I thought, what guys. You guys did well. I didn't expect you guys to come up with that based on the time frame and the technicality of them. So you guys did very well. So in that essence, thank you to everybody, to all the students and all the tutors, especially the students, for choosing Speedlink as your as your IT placement company or something. I don't know. But then, yeah, that's just it. So we hope that you guys go out there and make us proud. Please don't go and tarnish Speedlink when you go out there, because we have taught you guys a lot based on this project that you did. That means that you guys are going home with something. So I would advise when we go to our various schools, we should not just abandon all what we learned. Because you guys really presented something very nice here. So when you go back, you still ponder on it and then still make more research to continue with the project just presented. Thank you very much. We'll move back to students' reflections and testimony. So, each of you going to come and tell us what you've learned? Talking to the IT student, going to tell us what you've learned. Also, I wanted to tell us what they've learned. Come and tell us now what you've learned, what suggestions or corrections you want us to take into account for other training sessions that we will hold. So now I'll start calling it, or each of you will come and present one by one. Let me start from the guy that wanted to. Okay, possible. Hold on. You wanted to tell us what you learned. Come and tell us what you learned.
Okay. Let's go about
Any other thing?
First of all, I was thinking talk about very, very good thing. I think it's talking Sebastian. I think it's talking Sebastian. But God is a very big thing to speak with high-tech solutions for this training process that we do. But actually, I found it hard getting someone like a do IT that actually have what I was looking for. I did a lot of SAG, but a lot of SAG. I called some people, they say they don't need to do that in there, they don't do this. That's about the things. Well, I want to say I'm very, very grateful for all that have been taught here. And what I've learned, basically, the only thing during the period of WordPress, I can say right now, there are some things I can do, a lot of things actually I can do with WordPress. Even though there are some things I don't know that I have not been taught, I can just intuitively do them with the basic knowledge I've already gotten. My suggestions, what I have to say is, I was actually interested in the hardware parts. And the way the classes were structured was the way that the hardware comes first. When you're done with hardware, you can't learn anything about hardware again. And that was actually the main reason to be honest. That's why I came to school. But there were a lot of places do software all around my area. And I could just bring it and do something. That was the main reason that I came to school. I don't on the website. It doesn't actually stated that it was done that series. So I went to it, I was thinking, okay, I can just select one and then go for only one. So my suggestion is that maybe it can be done in a way that, let's say, within this time frame, they do the hardware basics and maybe it can be visited, or they can host different classes for basics and intermediate or pro, so that somebody who is coming out can just join the basics class and the classes can be split into different sections. Thank you very much.
So, would anyone want to address that suggestion, or I should? Okay, Mr. Franklin, are you? You will address your suggestion.
Okay, so thank you very much for these kind words. However, our structure here at Speedlink as regards IT training is one where we train you guys on the basis of these 4 courses with the hope that you will come back for the actual training afterward. We do not give the full, because what you said, that's like a 6-month training, which we are aware some of our students will be graduating in December, right? And they pay. However, what we have done is to subsidize a bit of training for the IT students, right? So in our own structure, You learn the four tracks in a compressed manner. Well, that's how it works for us. So the goal is you learn all of this in this short time, and then you are able to move on with that. Yeah, so that's it. Don't know if that's that has been done.
And
What else? Go ahead.
it does not, I don't know if other tutors also mentioned it, but like, and I think they did. If you have any questions or any other anything you want to know about, you can still reach out to them. I'm pretty sure most of them said that. So if you want to learn more after that particular class has ended, you can still reach out to them. Reached out to him. So what now happens? The same thing Samuel said, but you're not still satisfied. So any other person possible?
Good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I want to say everyone I've seen, I want to sincerely appreciate the entire Speedlink team for everything that they've done so far. Their commitment to one thing that I must say that I'll only use the word amazed, but I was also glad with the receptive part of all the staff, like their receptivity and their openness. They're willing to teach you as far as they know, so far as they're willing to learn. I noticed that, and I'm sure every of their experts, their willingness to teach you everything that they've learned, no matter how, so far as they're willing to, like I said, I want to sincerely appreciate all the Speedlink staffs and also all the IT students for their cooperation and everything. And then, yes, that is what I want to say. And I remember some of the times that when we do wrong, they try to correct us and say, okay, do it this way, do it this way. Some of the stuff that, especially during this project, one thing I learned during this project is that no matter the task you are given, right? If you are given a deadline, you usually compress that task to the deadline. Even though we're given 2 days, it means that we do it 2 days, no matter what happens. That's what I mean. And I want to just appreciate the Speedlink staff for their commitment towards this project was actually good. I remember Mr. Sita, it was 7 p.m. just to make the project done. It's not sneaky there. And I just want to say I appreciate us. And I hope that as we go out from here, not just myself, but the IT system, myself, I'm willing to take the higher personally to see how to advance in any of these courses. And I'm sure that the IT students will also make the same commitment. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so I want to appreciate everybody. I also want all our tutors, tutors and staff, because there's something key that I noticed that it's not like we say it out loud, but it's there. You need them to ask them something concerning how they work or something later to learn. If they have capabilities, they will teach you that thing. If they don't and they know somebody who does, they will still refer you to that person. And funny enough, that person will still teach you that certain thing. There are times where I've mentioned statistica for some things concerning electronic engineering. There are times I've made that places and tell me also, because those fields are fields I know that are very interested. They have an open mind to want to just kind of circulating, and I walk down from almost half of this junction here down to Speedlink. All we were thinking about was networking and how things were done. And I enjoyed the experience. It's not like he was reluctant to teach me. He carefully explained everything to me. And somehow the journey, which was long, was actually very short at the end of the day. So I just want people to know that these are things that making people stand out, even though it's not really outspoken. People are able to like teach us whenever the opportunity. And I encourage people not to stop, to keep it on. That's what I have to say. And also a suggestion also. I noticed that most of the staff who are tutors also have positions in the company. So sometimes those position duties actually affects our classes. I understand where it's coming from, but if there was a way that when it's time for a tutor to start teaching, if they can just find, I don't know how, I'm not being in the company, I'm not working in the company before, but I try that Speedlink have experience in this thing, but if they can be able to like relieve some of the duty from that tutor at that particular point in time, at least for where they learn, so that we can be able to teach us what we need to teach us efficiently, then I think that will help a lot. So that's my suggestion.
Any other person? Those online, any other? Do you have any? Does she have anything to say? So, she unmuted. Does she have anything to say?
You have said it all. I don't need to say anything. People, I say you people have said it all now. I don't need to say anything else. Like you guys were like the best tutors we could ask for. We didn't even, and we really appreciate it all you have done. Well, my colleagues have already said every other thing, so thank you.
So if there's no other contribution or remark, we will call on the IT supervisor to give the closing remark and prayer. Then afterwards, can take our photo.
Good afternoon, everyone. I really appreciate the commitment every student has shown in the course of your 6-month training with us. And as you have completed your industrial training, I want you to also continue the learning process. Because as you complete the training, it doesn't mean that you have completed learning. We have only given you a seed in both. So I want you to nurture and grow the seed. Continue to learn, unlearn, and learn. Because in the grand scheme of things, when you go out there, the labor market at the end of your degree program, employers do not rate you based on your CGPA, whether you came out with a first class or whatever CGPA you came out with. It's sincere, right? It's based on the skill you have. And we have planted the foundation for you to follow this career path. So keep on upskilling, because the skill you learn today will open doors for you tomorrow. So continue to learn, continue to grow. I wish you good luck and more grace to your future strides.
Amen.
All right, let's pray. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, the I am that I am, the Alpha and Omega. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the knowledge. We thank you for giving us grace to learn, to grow, and to innovate. as we are about to run up this program, may you continue to be with us, continue to be with the students, to guide and direct them towards their career path, continue to lead them, give them strength to grow, give them the strength to innovate. Thank you, Father, for everything you've done, for a great name.
Amen. So you can gather around for your photo.
I want to be outside. Statistica. I love you. Sorry, I've done our part. Thank you.
You get to.